Welcome to watchJojo Cooking. I'm Cody Kingan, and today we're making two different kinds of quiche, a vegetable and a ham quiche. So in front of me, I have basically all of our ingredients. And quiche, for those who may not know, is basically a really, it's a nicer presented omelet. It's just slightly different as far as your layering goes, but like the core ingredients are the same. You're going with your egg, you're adding a bit of cream to make it a little thinner, because then you're going to be adding all of your ingredients that are going to make it thick again. And of course cheese to bring everything together. So in front of me, ingredients wise, let's go through it. We got our eggs, got 18% cream. You can use something a little leaner if you want to, if you're trying to be health conscious. I wouldn't go any thinner than half and half. And then we're going with store-bought crust today, but you could also just make your own crust. We'll do that in another video, pie crust and all that fun stuff. We've got minced mushroom, our minced garlic as well, give it that nice pop of flavor. Onion, red pepper. We've got a jack cheese with jalapeno in it to give it a little bit of spice, a little bit extra kick. And then our protein. Protein's where you're gonna save the most money, always. That's where you wanna put the most effort in. So this is a Black Forest ham. And so what I did is, instead of buying a vacuum sealed whatever package of Black Forest ham, I wanted a very specific cut. I wanted it thicker. So let's open this guy up. I want it thicker. And I wanted 200 grams of it or so to do the one quiche. I want the protein to be a big player in the dish. And so what I did is I go to the deli counter always, because I do the math and look at how much it is per 100 grams, and then I compare it to what's at the counter. What you're gonna get at the counter is gonna be fresher, and then you get to make decisions like how thick it is. So what's nice here is if I were to buy maybe a vacuum seal stuff, it would be half that thin, and then it would be harder to cut, because what I wanna do with this is I wanna dice it. So I'm gonna cut that up later. And also you're gonna save money. Always be doing the math at the grocery store. Look, figure out what is worth 100 grams or whatever the measurement technique is there. It's always in the fine print. Sometimes things are on sale and you're like, oh, it's a deal. And then you actually look and there's a thing right beside it that's because it's no name, it's actually cheaper. And there's certain ingredients you can kind of go pretty cheap on. I went pretty cheap on my eggs because all the flavors, the eggs just need to be the filler. All the other ingredients are where all my flavor is gonna really come from. We're gonna cut up our ham. Intentionally thick slices, ordered at the deli counter at my local supermarket. What's nice is because I did that, I'm saving my money on the I'm not buying in excess. I'm buying exactly the amount I wanted, which was about 200 grams. And so I don't have that extra slice of ham that's gonna sit in my fridge and go bad. So that's the nice thing about being able to buy there, is you're buying exactly what you need and you're not gonna be tossing product at the end. So I'm looking for I'd say a medium dice on this. Nice medium thickness here. Strips. You can have them stacked, which is nice. And now I'm going to just pass over, chop through. Make sure my cuts are all clean. Boom. So now my ham is nice and diced. Every chunk is reasonably thick, but oh, so good. Doesn't get fresher in the deli counter. So you can use whatever seasoning you want in your quiche. You could go spicy. we're gonna go for more of a fresh pop today. So that's like why I'm gonna go with cilantro. So the best way to tell cilantro from a few other herbs is like the smell is very, very fresh, borderline almost soapy smelling. Also, let's just take a look at our leaf here. Parsley, while similar in shape, would be kind of a little more caved in, have a little bit more definition to the individual leaves. But it's actually like a super common mistake, is people like, well, if parsley gets put where cilantro should be, some people will buy it thinking it's cilantro because they don't know the smell, they don't know the texture, they don't know what they're looking for. So make sure you're getting what you need. So the huge stems are what you want to avoid. Like, you don't want to use them. So what I'm going to do is, because cilantro is just so freaking cheap, I'm just going to cut basically all the stems off. And like, yes, there's some leaves in here. Yes, I could use them, but like, it's not worth picking through. So we're just going to cut off the stems. And then you can look here, because we got this nice little bunch here that like our stalks at this point are really thin. So they'll be perfectly fine because we're gonna mince this. What the band is literally just what's holding it together, which I'm just gonna use to my advantage. That's a lie. I'm gonna take it off. Cool. I don't need an advantage. I need to show you how to cut parsley without having problems. So now you got your bunch of parsley. This is a little thick, so I'm gonna split it into 2 loads here. So rolling it here makes it nice and stable and tight, and take up less surface area. So I'm gonna fold everything in. So now I got this tight thing. And this is where good form comes into play, because I'm holding this together with good form. And then I get to do minimum passes through my herbs, because I'm just gonna go as thin as I possibly can while maintaining this bunch. So I'm gonna do this twice for you. So now that we've done our first pass, this is pretty thin. Like, if you wanted to use that, that would be perfectly sufficient. I'm gonna do one more pass at a slightly different angle. Like, I'm not going for the full, like, 90 degree. I'm kind of going for like a 80 degree change. So now we have a slight angle here. We're just gonna cross over. I'm trying not to chop. Like, if I'm whacking at this, which you've probably seen people do, like even like people on like cooking shows will whack at their herbs. You're bruising it, you're killing it, you're beating the flavor out of it, you're just pounding it in your cutting board. Why? Stop it. Let the knife do the work. Slice through things evenly, please God. Cool. I'm pretty happy with that. You got a couple of stray pieces there, a little on the large side, but all in all, it smells so fresh. It just wakes you right up. So we're grating the jack cheese, jalapenos in it, super spicy. So this is a really soft cheese, so you want to be pretty careful. I want pretty long strips, so I'm kind of doing this crescent rocking motion. I find it's less likely that I will break the bar because it's so soft if I roll it. If I end up with a couple of like roundish broken off pieces like here, it's not a big deal because I'm melting it all. It's just a really soft, it takes on flavors really well. If you wanted to save a couple bucks, you could just go mozzarella. I would go with like a white cheese, rather than cheddars. I think cheddar would be literally just too sharp, you know? Like let's talk flavor profiles. Let's just eat a slice of this on camera. And like, so it's sharp. Got a little bit of spice from the helping you, but not much, just a little. Oop. The spice builds after time, which is kind of cool. Like, it doesn't hit you right away. It starts, like, it's already tripled, doubled. And, oh, just like a really, it tastes tender. Tender is the word I want to use. And I know it's a weird word to use with cheese, but like, it's soft. It takes on flavors really well. It has its own, like, flavor that's going on, but like, it's not overpowering. Like, I couldn't just eat a piece of cheddar, but like, I'm gonna have another one of these. So good. Great for a cheese platter. Buy this shit. So good. Next up, we're gonna break our eggs in here. So I'm gonna do all 12 eggs because I'm doing 2 quiches. So best way to break eggs, firm whack. You don't want to hesitate. If you hesitate, your break's not going to be clean. You're going to end up with shells in your mix. So another cool trick I learned, if you break any of your shells in, I'm like gonna intentionally put a piece of shell in, and you need to fish it out. What you can do is you can use this shell to cut and grab the piece that falls in. Cool. So we have all our eggs in there. I'm gonna break them up first before I start adding ingredients. So I'm just gonna literally make sure I'm breaking the yolk of every single one by stabbing it through with my whisk. And then I'm gonna start whisking. So it doesn't have to be like a full body whisk, like just your wrist. Like the rest of me isn't even moving. Maximize your effort. You don't have to be like, oh my god, so much whisking. Like, no, it does not have to be a whole body experience. So, nice smooth eggs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour about half of this. No, I'm gonna add all the rest of our ingredients except for these two. Because these are where my 2 quiches are gonna differ. I'm gonna use all the same ingredients for the most part, but for the other one, I'm gonna just use mushroom. So, each one needs a, what is it, 3/4 of a cup, yes? Cool. So we're gonna go 3/4 of a cup, so I have a halfer here, and then I'll pour another half of a half, just because that's what I had on me. Boom. And then do that again, because we're doing a double. Which means in theory, I could have just filled this 3 times, because that's how math works. So what you can do is you can like put your protein on the bottom and then put your mix on top and kind of make it layered. You could actually just layer everything and then just pour your mix with your cheese on top. You can always make sure there's more cheese left over so you can melt it on top for a little bit of extra color. What's cool about cooking, you get to be creative, you get to do your own thing. There is and isn't a right way to do everything. Cool, so we're adding some more ingredients. Red pepper, finely diced, basically minced. This is like 1 whole red pepper. But like you can freeform it. If you only have a half in there, screw it, you're using it. It's free, it's good. I'm gonna use about half of an onion. So I have like a full onion minced here, but I'm only gonna use about half of it for this dish. I have 2 cloves of garlic, which means it's 1 clove per. So you might be thinking, oh, like the onions, the garlic, they could be cooked. But like we're gonna be baking this thing for like 45 minutes. So it'll get cooked. It'll still be firm, but it'll get cooked. The flavors will leach out. It will be awesome. Cool, last piece. Gonna give it a bit of color with our cilantro. Here, that's enough. It always looks like more whenever you first put it in, then you start stirring. You get beautiful color. Look at the red, the green. Plays nicely together. Smells fantastic. Cool. So now, I'm gonna take half of this. I'm gonna make sure to scrape the bottom of it because like the heavier stuff is gonna sit at the bottom. I'll make 2 quiches here. So, there. And so, I didn't do the measurements exactly. So like if this is too much, what's cool is I can take what's left. I can just make a 3rd quiche that has both mushroom and ham. Why not, right? So we're like 200 grams of ham, like 6 or so button mushrooms. Stir that in. I don't know anyone that I'm cooking for that has a mushroom allergy, so I'm gonna just cross-contaminate like a terrible human being. Cool. Now we're gonna pour into here. This guy's a little broken, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and apply a little bit of pressure here and use my egg to seal it back closed. Cool, good as new. Make sure to scrape that goodness from the bottom. Make sure you're nice, even distribution. You could see in that corner previously there wasn't enough protein, so I moved it. There's still plenty left over. I'm probably gonna end up with like 3 or 4 of these guys. Or some really dope omelets for the morning. There. So here we're adding a little bit of nutmeg. Cool. So we had excess ingredients. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make one I'm gonna enjoy more because I love spicy. I'm gonna give a little bit of that same reason I add nutmeg, that earthy flavor, except for I want more heat. So I'm gonna go with chili powder and like literally just like a single dash of cayenne. That's false, like 2 dashes of cayenne. Cool. So now I got my spicy. I got my 2 regulars, I've got my ham, I got my mushroom, vegetarian option. Not vegan though, because I added cheese, because cheese is delicious. Now we're gonna stick it in the oven. We have the oven preheated to 375, and we're gonna rock out there for about 35 minutes, and then I'm gonna actually grate more cheese, put that on top for the last 10 minutes, to give it extra texture, maybe like the cheese will like melt. After everything's stabilized, you add the cheese afterwards. I think it'll look really cool. Let's find out. So we're about to put it in the oven. I noticed we did, like, my assistant did a wonderfully awesome thing, and you know it. And so what we did here is we took our baking sheets, and this is making it so that we don't make a mess of our oven inside. Let's say it like bubbles over, like raises a little too much, or like it shifts for some reason because I go to pull it out and it like pours out as I'm grabbing it because it hasn't set yet or something terrible. This is going to prevent us from making a mess of inside the oven. We're just going to make a mess of the pan. And then even better, we have the tinfoil lining so that the spill goes onto here, not onto the pan, so that we like basically just need to peel off the tinfoil and then throw it in the garbage. We like don't have to put any effort into cleaning that pan, because there's nothing worse than trying to clean burnt on stuff from a pan, because every sink that has ever been created is too damn tiny to wash baking trays, like just ever. Like I don't know why, but they're always a pain to clean. And if it's really burnt on, it has to soak. You have to soak it twice. You have to soak it to do the one end, it's sticking out of the water, and then you have to flip it around and you have to soak it and scrub it again. So put down your liners, you're gonna save yourself so much hassle. It's totally worth the aluminum foil, I promise. In front of us, we have our 3 quiches we did today. We have the spicier variant. You can see like the red hue to it from the spices I put on top. And then we have our mushroom and ham. You can see the little darkness in the mushroom. You can see the little pieces of ham in there. When we hit 35 minutes, we popped some more cheese on top and gave it another 10. So we hit our 45-minute target, which resulted in nice, firm quiches. Let's do a taste test. Slim little sliver here. Cilantro is very present. Opens up your taste buds for the flavor of the ham and the egg. This one you can really taste the mushrooms. Almost taste like they've been sauteed, except for they weren't, because they were so tiny. Once again, cilantro opening up your taste buds for all the other flavors at play. At the end of the day, there's your quiche. Have an excellent day.